Hi, beautiful audience. I have a wonderful news today because I'm introducing my mentor who inspired me to do these type of activities. And then she's the first person who paid me for an event in Australia. She's the very proud First Nation person helping in different sport events and then looking forward to connect with all other people in our country. So let me welcome Tiffany Hunter to my show. Hi, Tiffany. I'm so humbled and honored with your presence on this show. So, can you please share who you are, what you're doing for our community?
Thank you for having me, Bisme. My name is Tiffany Hunter, and I'm a Taungurung woman from the east of Victoria. I started Nerdu Badji Education in 2017, which means Education Pathways in my traditional language group. It was primarily to support Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people into education and employment.
Mhm.
That's now expanded off into other different services. We facilitate mentoring programs with level crossing removal projects in their engineering pathways industry cadetship, which supports refugees and asylum seekers in getting, local paid opportunities within the construction industry. We've
Mm,
worked with major roads projects, Victoria, with developing resources for the Victorian Big Build website. Website.
yeah.
Um, we've also supported, numerous trainees that are working throughout the construction industry that come from different disadvantaged backgrounds. We've recently expanded out and we're developing eLearn cultural safety modules for, transport industry. Um,
Mm,
and I'm doing my first reconciliation action plan as an Aboriginal consultant with a construction company. I started Aboriginal art 2 years ago, so it's amazing to be able to incorporate that into my programs as well, because it's about strengthening cultural identity, raising
mm,
awareness about important stories that and topics that we
mm.
see throughout the nation, whether it be around diversity and inclusion, reconciliation, but coming together, and I think the brightness in the art really, shows that. And yeah, I think that's me.
Yeah, I was like, that's the one thing that's so close to my heart. Like, when we did the program, you were with that art, and then you were helping us to do or be part of that artwork, and then sharing us how to connect with that colors, and then that will connect to your core. And then that was an experience because we were seeing all these artworks and then understanding what it means, but the power of connecting that and doing it. That's what I experienced on that day. We were having our end of year celebration with all the cadets and all the good people that you were empowering. So I'm so happy that you connecting your core and then you empowering those people and educating them is a great way of taking them into the next level to improve their quality and improve their lifestyle. But the way that I like is I caught up with you accidentally from Wyndham Council because you're running a great inspiring mentoring program for women in Wyndham last year, and you were like a spark in that session, but at the same time you were so calm and then gentle and then sharing those things, but steering up the mind of attendees. That's the reason why I stayed back, because sometimes if it is an online program, if it didn't click, we don't go for the next one. But with your program and that big cohort of people from Windham Council were really influenced, and they are working in different places now. Some still, progressing into different level. And that's where I started, sharing with council and doing all those things. I'm so grateful that you were pushing everyone do this because this is your passion and this is your dream. So I'm again, like, sharing our gratitude from all the people from that group from Wyndham Council, Tiffany, because we call you, with love, our Tiff. So if we have any issues, we'll go to Tiff. Can you help us? And the real authenticity in you, Tiff, what we realized, you taking your students along with you with your journey. So you showing us how the energy is converting, and then how we can show the gratitude, not just in verbal or in actions, but it's more in that financial way. So you are always saying that if you are even putting 1%, you need to get something back, because that's where the energy passing, and the way that you connected with that First Nation mindset, connecting and through the touch, through the all different sounds, and your art, that was really helping me connect to my core. And you can see, like, the changes what happened in me, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that in offline before starting our in our conversation. So if I want to check with you, I know that you are an awesome mother on the other side, and then I know you were connected with some cadets, and then you were connecting mentally because they were from the war zone, and then they were upset with their family, and then you were mothering them with that consolation and compassion. So I just want to check with you, how do you describe your motherhood in your life?
I mean, I think as a woman and as a mother, we will sit here and we'll doubt ourselves at times, like, especially as a hardworking mum and woman, like, and the things that we are trying to raise awareness about. And thanks so much for all, your positivity before, like, hearing what you've said about me in the program is just really, it's really humbling, and it just reaffirms what I'm doing. But yeah, I think we will sit here and think, are we doing it right? Have I paid enough attention? I've missed the reader, or I've done this, or I haven't done this. But I think the most important part is just not putting that pressure on yourself all the time, just taking a bit of a breath and,
Mhm.
just doing what you can in each day, and remember, and being satisfied with that, which is something that sometimes I'll get caught in and I'll struggle with. Like, I'll feel like I wouldn't have done enough.
Yeah.
But it's just about, you've just got to constantly, I don't know if it's just anyone in general or if it's women, but we just have to sit there and really remember and reanalyze and go, I've done enough and it's okay. Um, as long as we're role modeling the right things to our children, I think that's, yeah,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
amazing part.
Yeah, I feel that, your emotion passing to me, like, you feel whatever you do, that should be like, connected, and then need to know that whether it's enough. Because as a mother, you always feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to do more and more. But that's where the burnouts come in. But that connection, or finding out, yes, I am doing it for my kids, and I'm giving that role model. I like that way of thinking, because sometimes we can't be there for 100%, but you are modeling yourself for your kids,
And
and they
another
know.
good thing is, sorry, another
Yeah.
great thing is, like, I did the Melbourne United jersey. I've also run an art program with my daughter's school. So
Ah,
then being given the opportunity for them to see me in my element, do some public speaking, although I'm not, amazing at it, but for them to, I finished the public speaking event or something, and them come up to me and hug me and say, oh my God, is that my mum? Like, that's what makes the work so worth it, when when you do feel like you haven't been there 100% for them in certain aspects, when they
yeah,
see you there, they get it, they
yeah, yeah.
they get why you're so busy, they get, yeah. So I think being able to do that at this point in my career has been amazing, to just see them proud of, for them
Yeah.
to call me their mum.
Yeah, that's those moments that you can keep it in your heart because they may have different perspective about mom at home, but when you do good things out there for the whole public, they feel like, oh, I'm so proud about you, mom. Yeah,
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's really great because I remember that you were doing that school program with your girl and then showing that and then sharing how that is connecting to the culture and then your history and also it's a great encouragement for them as well to share the story because storytelling is all what we have to do to share our culture, our values. So I think you living as a like a role model to them every now and then. Yeah. I
Thank
just want to touch base with you about the journey with that, the jersey that you were doing that lots of football designs and different things. Can you share a bit more about that?
It just sort of happened. So I used to play basketball as a kid. We experienced quite a lot of adversities as a child, and especially when it came to financials and poverty and things. So I couldn't keep up with playing sport. And when I did have to let go of basketball as a child, it was something that I could never reconnect to. But then my son started playing, and
Yeah.
we were able to attend our first basketball game. I think it was like the year before last. And from that experience, I just started painting. So I gifted Melbourne United a painting of our experience as a family attending the game. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so from there, like I was invited to do the Melbourne United jersey for their next Indigenous round, which was absolutely amazing. So that's sort of how it came together. And it's actually connected me back to basketball. Like potentially maybe I might look into, doing some more training. I don't know, but like yeah,
Yeah.
sports a massive gateway for, disadvantaged cohorts to,
Mm, yeah.
support them on their journey. I recently had the opportunity to, paint different sporting equipment. So there was like
Yeah.
a giant tennis racket from Tennis Australia. There was an NFL ball, NRL ball, a gridiron ball, a cricket bat, a basketball, and a netball and a soccer ball, I think.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
that's touching all the sports in Australia.
yeah.
That's what we need because when we always acknowledge our First Nations, it needs to be a bit more tangible and then powerful for our vision because that's where it connects us direct to our core. So you're doing amazing job for that reconciliation process
Yeah.
because people thinking I always share this one. It's not finishing when we acknowledge that, but you need to be sync with them and then learn from all the good values and then connect together and then go together. That's where we will become one nation. So I think you're playing a big part in that journey with the youth. That's what I can see because sports is where all the young people connecting a lot and that's where they became that close friends and then changing their mindset and thought process. So that's where you're putting up your real art. So well done, Tiff. And that's the way to go. And then you have to do many more things in all. That's what our wish in all sports activities. I want to see your artwork showing our nation's connection between our culture. So that's a good thing that you're doing, connecting with your kids' school, your, the sports area. You are doing your own, dream because you couldn't do that sometime, but now you are living that dream, and then more to come. So I'm so proud of you, Tiff. And that's a good role model for many other mothers because as a migrant mother, I can say there will be lots of dream and then we couldn't do same financial reasons and affordability at the same time number of kids in the family that we have to prioritize education rather than the extracurricular activities. So all the mothers out there listening to us, you can do it any time of your life. your dream is not stopping. You can, make it happen in this world. So I'm
That's
going to
really
ask you
sorry.
question. I know I mentioned this, Steve. One of your quality that I always mention is your that grounding, your calmness, and the way that when you do the facilitation, it doesn't feel like it. It is more of like you living with us or just part of our life. That's what I personally felt it. So how do you keep that calmness and grounding? And I know that everyone needs to work hard because it's not always the calm life, but you need to intentionally do something. So what's your secrets?
Um, Bisme, it's really refreshing to hear that you feel like that I am a really calm facilitator.
Yes.
Um, I guess there might be a difference between facilitating and public speaking. I don't know, because public speaking, I don't feel as calm. Like, I guess in the facilitation, I think it's because it's my story.
Mm,
So you're sharing really vulnerable parts about you. And I'm a strong believer in building an authentic relationship. And I think I've said that, in throughout our program.
yeah.
And by building an authentic relationship, it comes down to the storytelling. So I guess, the experiences and the adversities and challenges that I have faced throughout my life has shaped me to be who I am, and it shapes why my program works so well, because
Mm,
somebody can connect to my story in some shape or form. I've had people reach out to me and say, because of your story, I've now left a domestic violent relationship, or because of your story, I'm now employed doing this role
mm,
instead of this role. So, and I think that's what it's about. You being uncomfortable and vulnerable for, a certain period of your life to be able to share some vulnerable stories,
mm,
because you never know whose life you're going to change in doing so.
mm,
So it is about getting up and being brave and talking about some of those things. And I think that's what helps, and I think then the calmness comes because somebody connects,
mm,
and it brings you a sense of feeling safe in the room, because it makes them feel safe. So
mm.
I think that's maybe, I don't know if that's how it happens, but I think that's all I do. So I think, yeah, I think it
Yeah.
might contribute.
I picked up two things. You mentioned the authentic connection because even though you're doing that session for them, but you're connecting to that person, and it's more of like you're giving the heart to them. So that's a great way to do because I think this like in an era we are always going that overfluence connection rather than the authentic connection. So I love the way that you mentioned that authentic connection. And the next one, you feel that safety, like you are in a good environment. So yeah, so I love that because I think at the moment you touched about that family violence as well. The month of May, we are doing that awareness of family violence. And many people are getting really, triggered in different things, but they are not comfortable to open their story because of status quo, because of fear, and then finding out what I'll do with my financial things about the life and kids. So what you're doing is sharing your story, and when you hear that someone else really empowered and did something for their life, that's the great reward that you can get, and that's your inspiration to go and share the same thing. So I will check with you, like being a mentor in this vulnerable community, and then empowering those people. And I know that you are doing more on the male dominated area as well, picking them and then showing them compassion. How do you feel about the family violence awareness, and what's your thoughts on that?
Um, Look, I do think I've heard a lot more on the radio and on the news and things, and I've seen a lot more on social media. So if I'm to say it doesn't trigger
Mm,
me, then I'd be lying. But do I know the importance? Yes, I do, because if people aren't aware about it, we're going to continue to see these, awful
mm,
things happen. you know, it's still something that a part of me still does feel quite silenced about, you know, and I guess that does come down to safety, you know, and yeah, I guess, you know, it's not fair for a woman to feel like they can't walk down the street. It's not fair for a woman to feel in their own home even, you know,
Mm.
to feel scared, that, you know, even if they are out of that domestic violent relationship, they still feel scared if they hear a noise or, you know, something. So, you know, will those things ever go away? I don't know, you know, but I do hope, you know, that we continue to see change. I hope that the awareness continues to build. And I'm really grateful for the women that do stand up and talk about it and create this awareness, because you're doing it for the people that still feel silenced. So, you know, it's a massive thank you to all those women that are able to share, and be so vulnerable to create the awareness.
Mm. Thank you, because you're right. We need to talk for other people, because I would say many people, many girls, they're in that four walls of, like, all that shame, anxiety, guilt, and then they can't even raise their voice. So that's what we are trying to do. All the people around Australia is, now putting hands together to make us stop on this, victims going into all these issues. And I always believe every human has a right to live peacefully, including male and female. And it's not just the violence is uh, it's not females are the only victims, and we acknowledge that it's coming from both parts. But I think the awareness, like, respecting each other, it's the core, and then try to be that authentic people and having that authentic relationship. Always take it off. But I think people are not really putting effort to have that authentic relationship between them. So thank you for that. Thank you that you're supporting, and I know that that's a major area in your community as well, and especially on our Asian community. So I can resonate how you will be triggering to hear, because last in March, it's from our community, the lady who got became the victim of the violence. So it's a triggering topic for everyone. So I would love to ask with you. You're inspiring many people, but what's your motivation or your message to our listeners to spread love, joy, and peace?
Continue to work on being your authentic self. Like, I know it's, you know, being present, you know, and just living your dreams, finding out what you value, align it to what you're wanting to do. Don't be so hard on yourself all the time. You know, life happens. Take some of that pressure off yourself, because, you know, we don't need it. You know, I think, and let's just continue to support one another as women to build each other up. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things, is having your support network and relying on them when you need it. So yeah, and spread love, joy, and happiness.
Thank you. That's great. So you mentioned that, that supporting community, and then you're doing many different things. So can you share with us, how can we reach out to you if we need a training from you, or if we need like, connecting with you, get some coaching and all the good things that you're doing. And even like, personally, I will ask, like, how do we connect with you when you do your workshops? Because we love to connect with that one, because I think Asians, or even now everyone is trying to do that mandala art, which is that dot art. But I believe that's so much closely attached to, the artwork that you are doing. And maybe that may be the starting point of those ones. So how do we connect with you?
Feel free to connect with me on, you know, all of my social platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and also via email. Definitely pick up the phone, give me a call. We can see whether we can put you into some programs. I would definitely love to be running some more art workshops for community members to attend in the future. So yeah, just, I think, connect with me and stay up to date with what we're trying to do at NBE and Tiffany Hunter Studio.
Yeah, thank you, Tiffany. So I'm sure that you had a wonderful Mother's Day, but I'll wish you a great motherhood for you. That's like a lifelong honor to be a mother and then inspiring them and being a role model. So all the very best wishes and prayers and my love to you, Tiff, to go into that great colors and then making that dreams as a reality and connect with all different people and touching their hearts, because once you touch their heart, it is, even though you are not communicating, that's a lifelong connection that you are making. So thank you so much again. I would love to share my gratitude for being my mentor and inspiring me and triggering me to do the good things that I'm doing. So thank you so much, Tiffany.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me, Bisme. I'm so honored to be on your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, my listeners, it's my personal a special story today. So, if you feel that I am having different changes in my growth, especially connecting with the community, the only reason is Tiffany, because I was having many different actions for inner healing. I was getting help with my other trainer, Elizabeth, but it was inside. I was not really expressing. But Tiffany is the one who actually showed me, you have to do it, Bismi. This is your area. And then she gave me the first opportunity to, experience my capability. So thank you again, Tiffany, for helping me in my journey.
Thank you so much, Bisme. It's so refreshing to hear. It makes it all worth it when,
It
you
is.
hear
It is.
something like that.
Yeah, so I highly recommend, if you feel like you are so down and you can't really connect with your core, Tiffany is the right person, and then she will work around your life, and then she will change your life and perspective of your life. So thank you, Tiffany, again for your time, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Bisme.